right, Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim, Rakah Quadash, which is the true name of the Heavenly Father and His only begotten Son, are two great kings, the gods that the King James Bible speaks of, which again, the true name of the Heavenly Father is Yahweh, and His only begotten Son, who the world in ignorance calls Christ. True name is Yahweh Shai. Second of all, I want to give double honors to my elders and apostles of Great Millstone, Elder Tahar and on down, that rule and teach well. And third of all, I want to give a peace and safety to the hopeful elect out there, the brothers that push this truth, the truth of the King James Bible, and all truth and sincerity throughout the four corners of the globe. Alright, so I just want to do a short and transit lesson, or however long the spirit of Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai allows it to go. And I'm not really sure what I want to title the lesson yet. Lord will the Lord to give me a title for the lesson. But Lord wills, brothers can see on the screen, the inspiration for this for the lesson comes from this article that I have here from The Hill, and it reads, "Oil is near pre-war prices. Why hasn't gasoline followed suit?" Alright, so you know, all this, it looks like all this market manipulation that Trump has been doing, you know, these past few months. All right, it looks like it ain't working no more. Because the other day, you know, he came out and gave a speech saying that the reason why, you know, the prices at the pump ain't dropping dramatically is because the people that, you know, own these stores, the convenience stores, you know, whatever. Well, he said it, and well, he actually didn't say that. He said, well, people in that you know, the people that work in the energy department or whatever, I guess, of his cabinet, are saying that the reason why prices ain't dropping dramatically is because the people that own the gas stations or whatever, they're not dropping the prices. They're refusing to drop the prices, which, you know, I don't know 100% how that works, but that sounds like a bunch of bullshit to me. All right, because we know this devil, you know, this whole time has been manipulating the markets, you know, lying and saying the strait is open, or you know, saying we're close to a peace deal, and you know the markets will go, you know, will be way up, and then the markets will drop. The price for a barrel of oil will drop like crazy because he lies and says there's a peace deal coming, or you know, again, he'll say the straits is open. All right, but it looks like, you know, them tricks ain't working no more, because I mean the prices did come down, but they're going back up too. They came down a little bit, but they're rising, and we know that the whole reason why they did drop in the first place, and why a barrel of oil isn't $200 a barrel, which really in real life, I don't want to say real life, but in the real world, I'll say a barrel of oil is really trading for like $160 to $170 a barrel. All right. On paper, you know, on the internet, I'll say, you know, they got them, you know, priced it. I didn't look at it, but last time I saw it, it was like at $60 or $70 a barrel. All right. Which again, in the real world, like a lot of these people that are experts in the oil markets or whatever are saying, that really a barrel of oil is trading for like $160 to $170 a barrel. Well on its way to you know, slacking, brothers. Yeah, slacking, brothers. But yeah, all this you know, market manipulation and things he's been doing, it looks like they ain't, you know, it ain't working no more. All right, because again, the price for a barrel of oil has dropped, all right, dramatically, but again, the prices at the pump ain't dropping like crazy, and really they're going back up. Earlier today, I think it was at the Jiffy store I passed by every day at work, it was at like 170, and I think now it's at like not 170, 370, and I think now it's up to like 380. It might have been 360 or 370. Now I know it's up to 380 now. All right, I just passed it. So yeah, the prices are actually going back up. Because again, this devil's been lying the whole time. And again, in the real world, a barrel of oil is trading around, probably now it's probably trading around like $200 a barrel. All right. And he admitted the other day, which you gotta, take that with a grain of salt as well. Because he finally admitted that the reserves were gonna run out in 4 weeks. And we know how this devil has been lying. So, really it's probably like, either this week could have been the last week, or next week on the 4th could be the last week. Who knows? All right. But yeah, it looks like all his this devil's tricks ain't working no more. So I'm gonna go ahead and play the article real quick.
But gasoline prices remain significantly elevated. While President Trump has blamed big oil for price gouging, analysts say it is individual gas station owners that are slow to lower fuel prices.
Right. Now, again, I don't know, if that's 100% accurate, if they're just not lowering the prices. Because, again, and, maybe they're looking at it like, this devil has lied so much. All right. Why would we, drop the prices dramatically if that is the case? He's lied multiple times about having a deal. The Straits is open. He's lied so much. All right. They got to be looking at it like this devil, what makes this, why wouldn't we believe that he's not lying now? All right. Why would we believe him now? All right.
The public is mad at the major oil companies because gasoline prices have not fallen as fast as the price of crude oil. Their anger is misplaced, Andy Lipow, president of Lipow Oil Associates, said in an email to The Hill. The oil companies own less than 5% of the service stations, but their brands are sold at most of them. They should be mad at the local gasoline service station owner. They are making lots of money, he said. Oil prices, and therefore gasoline prices, skyrocketed over the course of the war with Iran, with the national average gasoline price clearing $4.50 per gallon earlier this year. That's because Iran was able to shut down the Strait of Hormuz, a key oil shipping lane through which about a fifth of global oil consumption typically flows. A key tenet of the move is to allow the free flow of ships through the Strait of Hormuz. Thought that in itself has been a difficult proposition to keep. Iran at the end of the week fired on a ship it argued was not going through the proper route, an effort to assert its authority over the waterway. The Trump administration responded by firing on Iran on Friday night. As of Friday, before the latest U.S. military action.
Right, and they're still firing on each other right now. I believe Iran just hit another ship. All right, so they're still going at it right now.
U.S. benchmark West Texas Intermediate crude oil was trading at about $69 per barrel, virtually all the way back down to its pre-war price of about $67. However, gasoline prices were still elevated, averaging $3.90 nationally Friday. According to AAA, up nearly $1 from the price in late February. There is an adage that retail prices rise like a rocket, fall like a feather. And this is true, but it is also true that retail prices, even though they rose very fast at the start of this war, they still did not rise as fast as crude prices did, said Rob Smith, director of global fuel retail at S&P Global Energy's Refining and Marketing Group. Retail operators were squeezed in terms of their margin in April. So there is a need to recoup that margin to average it out, he said. Another factor in the mismatch is low corporate gasoline inventories, said Claudio Galimberti, chief economist at Rystad Energy. We are in the middle of the driving season, and therefore demand is very high. He said, adding that since the world is coming out of a prolonged disruption, inventories have been going down everywhere in the world. Trump raged at the oil industry, something that met pushback from companies he is usually aligned with. The big oil companies are not dropping their price at the pump commensurate with the sharply lower prices they are paying for oil, Trump wrote in a post on Truth Social. In other words, customers are being gouged, he added. I have instructed the DOJ Department of Justice to immediately start looking into this. Gasoline prices better start going down a lot faster than what I am seeing. A major oil industry lobby.
They can't. Why would, again, if this is, the truth that, the reason why they're staying high is because, the owners of the gas station don't want to drop them. They've got no reason to drop them. The Straits is still closed. The Strait of Hormuz is still closed. All right. The, reserves all around the world, especially here in America, are running dry. Probably already out. So, what would give them confidence to want to drop the prices? cause he's lying on the internet like he's been doing. Lying, tweeting shit and giving these speeches, going on Fox News and all these other bullshit media outlets. All right, and saying everything is great and the strait's open and we've been sneaking oil out of the strait and all this other bullshit. He's been lying for months. So why would what would give them confidence, all right, to want to drop the price? Because we know now his word don't mean shit, because he's been lying this whole time. They've been lying this whole time, Trump and his administration. All right, and again, the Strait of Hormuz is still closed unless you pay Iran's tolls. All right, and again, the reserves around the world are running dry. All right. So I mean, what would give them the confidence to want to drop it? Because he said the straits is open, which is a lie, and or whatever.
Industry lobbying group, the American Petroleum Institute API, pushed back on Trump in a written statement. Gasoline prices do not move in lockstep with crude oil, especially during a major global disruption that is still affecting supply, refining, and inventories, API spokesperson Bethany Williams said. Meanwhile, Chevron Chief Financial Officer Eimear Bonner told CNBC this past week that it is going to take time for prices to come down. There is a lag between reductions in oil prices and when that shows up at the pump. But we expect that prices will come down as things continue to normalize. Bonner said, according to the National...
And you think about it, look how long it took for the prices to drop when he first started releasing the reserves into the market. It took like a week, it took like, not a week, it took like a month or so. Because for a while, when, Iran first closed the strait down, all right, prices was jumping through the roof. But then he started releasing the reserves. And even then, it took some time for them to really kick in. Because for a while, gas damn near was $5 a gallon. All right. So now the reserves are running dry. And again, the reserves might be all the way out. Because remember, gotta remember a week or so ago, the energy, people or whatever, Trump had a meeting with the energy people or whatever, and they probably told him like, look, man, you can't keep releasing these reserves, man, we're running low. All right, because I believe they gotta maintain 150 million barrels in the reserves, or that level of oil, to keep the salt mines open or whatever, to keep the salt mines afloat or whatever. All right, if not, the salt mines will collapse or something to that effect. All right. So that's probably what they told him. So again, the reserves might already be out, or next week could be the last week. We don't know. This devil lies so fucking much. All right, I'm gonna play the rest of it.
National Association of Convenience Stores. Most gas stations are small businesses, with about 55% being single-location operators. According to the API, fewer than 5% are owned by major oil companies. Smith also cast doubt on whether gouging was going on. The U.S. retail gasoline market is so incredibly fragmented in...
I don't believe they're price gouging at all. Again, it's just nothing, there's no nothing out there, showing them, or giving them a reason why they should drop the prices. Other than him just, spewing the same bullshit he's been spewing these last few months. What is it, like 40 times he said that they were close to a peace deal? We're a paragraph away. We're a sentence away. We're 1 day away. And then the same shit happens. He waits till the markets close on the weekend and he starts bombing again. Or, Israel will attack Lebanon or something like that. So again, what would give them the confidence to drop the price? Because his word don't mean shit. Him saying that don't mean shit. The straits is open and, we got plenty of oil. That don't, his word don't mean shit. Trump's word don't mean shit, man. And again, the strait is still closed. All right. And the reserves are running dry. If not, the reserves are already gone. All right. Or it's reached a level where they can't release them into the market anymore.
Fragmented in terms of ownership, that it is very difficult for there to be any kind of coordinated effort. He said, given that fragmented nature and how competitive it is, price signs are everywhere. There is intense pressure on pricing and margins. It is very difficult to do any kind of coordinated gouging, he added. In the meantime, however, the still elevated gasoline prices are still hitting low and middle-income Americans hard. For low and even many middle-income households living paycheck to paycheck, an additional $100 a month in energy costs is significant. Families do not simply absorb those increases. They are forced to make difficult trade-offs, Mark Wolf, executive director of the National...
Right, are you gonna buy gas today? All right, are you gonna put gas in your car today to go to work, or are you gonna eat something today? Are you gonna buy some groceries for your family? People are real deal having to make that decision, man. All right, people are real deal having to make that decision. So to sum things up in a nutshell, it's over for this place. Get one precept, close out. This the book of Baruch, chapter 4, verse 31. Miserable are they that afflicted thee. Who afflicted us? Esau, Edom, the so-called white man. All right, and rejoice at thy fall. Verse 32. Here's the point. Miserable are the cities which thy children serve. Right. Miserable are the cities that thy children serve. And what city do we serve? Well, we serve all around the globe, because it doesn't matter where you are, whether you're in America, South America. All right, you're in the land of your enemy. You're in the land of your enemies. All right. Job 9:24. The earth is given into the hands of the wicked, but the main land of our captivity is America. All right. So it says, miserable are the cities, and Babylon is known as what? That great city which thy children served, which, we built this bitch up. We built America up, all right, to what it is today. All right. If it wasn't for the so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native and Seminole Indians being in America, America would be completely and utterly desolate. Jake, like the scripture say, Jake is the, Israel is the form of all things, roughly paraphrasing. All right. Miserable are the cities which thy children serve. Miserable is she that receiveth thy sons. Right, and the Lord is bringing great misery upon this place, upon the people here, especially you Edomites, because the curses are beginning to reverse. Verse 33. For as she rejoiced at thy ruins and was glad at thy fall, so shall she be grieved for her own desolation. And the Lord again is bringing this place down. Before he destroys it, he's going to cause all hell to break loose in this place. All right. People not being able to afford anything, gas, food, pay the rent, pay the utility bills. Eventually, all hell is going to break loose, because eventually the people in the land are going to reach a breaking point. All right. So the Lord is bringing great miseries upon Babylon the Great. Like the Lord also said, spoke about much sorrow coming upon this place. This Revelation chapter 18, verse 5. For her sins, whose sins? Babylon the Great, have reached unto heaven, and Yahweh have remembered her iniquity. Reward her even as she rewarded you, and double unto her double according to her works, which the cup which she had filled to her double. How much she had glorified herself and lived deliciously, so much torment and sorrow give her. For she saith in her heart, I said a queen, and am no widow, and shall see no sorrow. But this place is about to see much sorrow. All right. Verse 8. Therefore shall her plagues come in one day: death, mourning, and famine. Right, a whole lot of mourning, and we're seeing that now. Again, you see these compilation videos with people, sighing and crying about not being able to afford this and not being able to afford that. The people are in a state of mourning, and it's only going to get worse. All right, famine. 2 Ezra 6:22, the full storehouses shall suddenly be found empty. All right, and also something else Trump signed off on earlier today. Something, trying to make sure the food supply chain keeps stock. So this shit is about to collapse, man. It's clear as day. This shit is about to collapse. All right. And it said death, mourning, and famine, and she should be utterly burned with fire. For strong is the Lord Yahweh who judges the right, because that's the end all be all. The second death was gonna come, which is gonna come by way of ICBM nuclear missiles. All right, which is gonna completely and utterly wipe the whole land of America off the map. All right, well, turn Babylon the Great into a giant desert. all so-called civilization will be wiped out here in America, and America will just be a giant desert. All right, only creatures that can survive in desert-like climates. All right, are gonna live here. All right, but yeah, that's what's coming, man. Well, people are already in mourning, but more mourning, death and famine, which is energy crisis. Help speed up the famine as well. All right, no diesel, like we've been saying. This is Kwame and Aki, we've been saying, no diesel, no trucks get to the store. No trucks get to the store, no goods get to the store. Meaning no food on the shelves. All right. So yeah, then again, it looks like this devil's tricks ain't working no more, man. All right. So with that, I pray this lesson was edifying. I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim, Rakak Wadash. Double honors again to my elders and apostles of Great Millstone. And peace and safety to you, brothers that push this truth and sincerity. And with that, I'm going to say shalom to the elect.